If you want to make yourself indispensable, I'm asking you to prioritize education over money. I'm consistent in this request because I've seen it work. Very early in my career, when I was a junior, it worked for me. But as my career developed, it also worked for me as a manager and as an operator. In my first interview I ever had as a professional, I asked not for money, but for exposure, for experience. I vividly remember looking the interviewer in the eye and saying, "I do not care what you pay me." That was at a time where everything was in person, and I knew that I was going to get the lion's share of the value from the equation. It's unfair for me to ask you to prioritize time over money or experience over money, or at least to deprioritize money for now. The amount of money you need to live the life that you want is constantly increasing, and salaries do not keep pace with that increase. You should fight for the maximum possible salary that you can get, but in a fight between maximum salary versus maximum education in a learning company, I'm asking you to choose the latter. I'll share a success story to demonstrate my thinking, to illustrate how timing a move and prioritizing learning now compounds later. I once hired a project manager named Sam. The company I was running needed an affordable option, and that means a level 1 or 2 project manager. Someone who was not just excited to have a job, but to learn while doing it. My strategy was to find someone undervalued in the market, so I created a real-world job description. I stripped away all of the nonsense and the jargon and just made it simple, plain English description of what I was expecting from them. It stated the broad strokes of what I needed from that project manager and was short enough to be striking as compared to a job description asking for far more than a junior project manager could be expected to be good at. So up it went on LinkedIn, and 600 applications later, in 6 hours, I closed the listing and went to work on sorting good from bad fits. I reviewed each of these 600 applications by hand, and they included many applicants who were decades of experience into their careers, but were forced to go downstream because they had no luck in waters that had been previously full of biting fish. As an aside, it would have been simple for me to find a project manager with vast experience for the price of a junior. It was a buyer's market. But I knew I needed a level 1 professional, someone who would thrive under simple instruction and ample opportunity for improvisation. I didn't want to micromanage any more than anyone enjoys being micromanaged. And I needed someone open-minded who wouldn't bring vast experience and vast baggage in the door with them. I whittled my list of 10 down to 3, and after 2 interviews made my pick and offer. Sam had a creative background, and after some truly awful mismanagement in a prior role, had switched to retail work. They had applied to my listing after unsuccessfully interviewing for some time for other project management roles at other agencies for 2 years. In Sam, I saw qualities where others had seen vulnerabilities. They were very calm. Nothing seemed to fluster them, and my gut feeling was that the retail experience had enriched their ability to listen and communicate more effectively than the average project manager. And it bore out. They had an obviously high work ethic. They asked for help when they needed it, but they weren't paralyzed by doubt if something wasn't immediately obvious to them. They appreciated the simplicity of the listing and the opportunity to do things their way, so long as the few golden rules that I had were followed. They sought feedback and welcomed criticism that helped them accelerate their growth. They investigated process improvements alone and theorized the benefits and risks of changing team dynamics. They felt ownership of their time and genuine inclusion in the narrative of how the business operated. They formed strong relationships with clients and teammates alike, relationships that they would take with them. In Sam's final interview before the offer, I said, "Give me 18 months and you will move on to something bigger and better paid. Learn here and move up when you move on." By knowing what we were looking for and by having a high tolerance for error, we were able to prioritize Sam's career over this role. What we could not match in salaries competitors could offer, we could beat in culture. We were a learning company, an accelerant for careers that no one else could match. We made our company stronger not by demanding that we retain our people at all cost, but by demanding that while they worked on our team, they would need to be constantly learning, growing, and improving by taking feedback our leadership provided and course-correcting the next opportunity for success. We didn't lay awake at night worrying about our high performers quitting, and this happens more than you would imagine in leaders. We actually told our people that they would not be working here forever, but that while they did work here, we expected them to be constantly working to improve. And Sam did not work for me forever. 18 months after their first day, Sam told me they'd found a better salary at another company. If your employer is angry or upset by you telling them something similar, that you've found a better fit, be it for more money, less stress, a fresh start, or all the above, then you deserve better and should be relieved to be moving on. Success in modern professional life is about the best possible fit for the highest profit possible in both directions. The company needs to profit from your effort, but just as importantly, you need to profit from the experience. When Sam gave their notice, I was delighted for them. They made my life easier, and I contributed to their ability to learn by reassuring them that I was serious. Mistakes were learning experiences, that failing to learn from experiences and mistakes was the only crime. I got from Sam an ever-improving quality of professionalism, and when they felt that they could meaningfully improve their salary, they did. That is the reality of small firms unable to compete on price. Because not all value is money, and if small firms' claim to expertise holds water, they should be capable of teaching juniors how to be a better professional. Sam was one of many examples of very bright spots that needed a simple way to thrive in the right environment. But it would not have happened if they would not have taken a chance, if they had not left their retail job and prioritized learning over money. Their salary today far exceeds what I paid them and what they could expect without the experience of our work together. And that is the lesson. Prioritize education in a learning company over salary in a dysfunctional company, and money will follow.